Okay, the listeners are not. My birth control experience lasted about 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
The pill.
Yeah.
Birth control pill experience lasted about 7 years. My IUD lasted about almost 3 years.
Okay.
The pill caused me severe depression, as most people
will experience.
Have experienced when on birth control pills. My IUD caused me more physical pain than mental pain, but when I stopped birth control entirely, my depression went away and I no longer need antidepressants. So I don't think that's a coincidence. I've heard from people who actually take birth control pills nothing but negative things. Scientists and doctors will tell you it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is okay, but everything else will go to shit. Yeah. It's like, okay,
It's okay, but is it great?
No. Like, would you put your daughter on this? Probably not, because I don't want to see my daughter have suicidal thoughts and depression and gain 80 pounds.
But here's the thing. I feel like we didn't know about this until, honestly,
nobody tells you.
Until the last, 5, maybe 10 years. Has this been an issue that, has been brought up in, the media even?
I just don't know why doctors, especially my doctors, walk-in clinics, were so quick.
They make money off of it. That's why.
To give me, but, without me really inquiring all that much.
Because you know why, too? If you don't ask the questions, they don't give a shit. They just want you out of their office.
Yeah.
Which is the worst fucking shittiest thing. Because I'm a young woman who is now looking to have safe sex and to not be pregnant at a young age where I can't afford to have a child.
Safe sex and not being pregnant are 2 different things.
Well, yes, but I mean, even if I'm using a condom, whatever, I'm doing all the contraceptive methods I can possibly do to not have a fucking child and to not get sexual diseases. Of course, I never did, but
but
never did anything. Raw dog all the way, baby. But if hypothetically, if I'm a young woman, I don't know anything about birth control, and maybe my parents never talked to me about that, but I just said I want to start having sex and I don't want to get pregnant. So my mom and dad were like, okay, fine, then this is your option.
You told your mom and dad?
Not my dad. I told my mom.
You asked her to go on birth control?
Yeah. And she was like, okay, sure, we'll go to the doctor.
So that's the thing. I did a lot of that stuff independently. And when you do a lot of that stuff independently with parents who don't, it's not that they don't support you. It's like a don't ask, don't tell policy. Yeah. And I do believe in, I don't know. I believe in people making choices independently. But I don't think at the age that I was prescribed birth control, I had the capacity to make the right decision. So I just did, okay, well, I want to have sex and I don't want to have a baby.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether there's going to be condoms everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go on this pill because it's magical at the time.
Yeah. Because you're like, wow, I can take this and have all the sex I want and not get pregnant. This is amazing.
And girl, I did.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised.
Did I ever.
The pill was working overtime.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. It was like, okay, we can only
She paid for itself.
Yeah, she really did. Should be in a book.
Oh
but
how old were you when you started?
16.
Okay.
Till I was 24.
Wow. It's a long time.
Well, it's 22 and then an IUD for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
But my experience was, I'm finding out no special case. A lot of people that are on birth control have super bad mental health issues now.
Yeah.
That I do feel take a while to even recover from.
Your hormones are completely fucked.
And, I would like to get a specialist on or somebody who is,
knows more about it.
More than just my personal story on the podcast and actually talk about that a bit. Because I do feel like people should, even men, especially people with penises that are having sex with people with vaginas that are on birth control, need to know what your either partner or hookup or whoever is going through.
Yeah. Or the precautions they're taking in order to have that relationship.
I don't think I got enough support and credit from my partners that they were the only reason why I was taking birth control pills for my entire fucking teenage and young adult life.
Yeah.
and it's not something we talked about. They would just need to know, and they would only ask like 2 seconds before they were about to fucking finish, and that is, I think, disrespectful.
That's so fucking disrespectful.
Mainly, it's like, you're on the pill, right? And it's like, so what if I fucking wasn't? Like, what if I wasn't? That was your fucking game plan, bro?
Then they'd be like, okay, great, so I don't have to pull out. Perfect.
Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying everybody would do that, and I'm not saying I was, the best in terms of, like, communicating that either. Yeah. I just think it's too taboo to talk about, and I don't know why that is. Because it's like...
It shouldn't be, and I think it's starting to become more prevalent now as a topic of conversation for a lot of people. And I think men now are more intrigued maybe about it because of the media coverage on it, potentially. Like, I know Alex and I have always had a very open relationship with, like, birth control and contraceptives and yada yada. Has he been supportive in that area necessarily always? No. But only recently has he really been, like, interested in, like, oh, so, like, how does this make you feel? Like, is this...
How often do you actually take it? Does it matter when you take it?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Like,
and
yes, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you have?
What does this do to you? How would you benefit from not being on this pill?
How do you feel physically?
So, that's the thing. Like, it's just, like, misinformation, and I don't know why people are scared to talk about it, because it's, like, kind of, if you think about it...
it's interesting. I love talking about birth control to, like, other people with uteruses and vaginas, because it's just, like, something that is so not talked about.
Well, it's like, why is this such a common thing?
Like our last episode, it's like everybody does this, but for some reason nobody talks about these things.
Like, why aren't we talking about how we wipe?
Yeah, if you haven't listened to that episode.
What if somebody literally was just like, I didn't know it was not normal to fucking, reverse cowgirl the toilet when you go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Like, it's okay
know.
to not talk about that, I guess. But it's just like, there are things that, like, we should be comfortable talking about.
Don't know about other people's experiences. So,
my experience overall, it was, again, it's always a choice. Yes. So I chose to go on the pill for so long.
Yes.
I chose that option because I really, had frequent, like, unprotected sex, sometimes with the same partner, sometimes not the same partner. Mm-hmm. So I liked covering my bases. Mm-hmm. But
no way in form are we condoning unprotected sex.
No, I just, like,
with multiple partners.
I was at a stage where I was like, no, it doesn't matter. I do what the fuck you want with your body.
Yeah, you were living your young life.
And I was like rolling in with the punches. Maybe not the most educated, but definitely not ignorant to the possibilities. Mm-hmm. Just living my fucking life.
Yeah.
But the IUD was better in some senses. Mm-hmm. It was extremely painful, and I definitely did get more terrible cramps, which I saw as a decent trade-off because it's a little bit more natural. It's not going through my bloodstream. It's in a targeted area, which is just my reproductive organ, and I liked that. I liked that I wasn't taking a little piece of powder pill that goes through my whole bloodstream when it needs to just do one little fucking thing in my downstairs area. Like, why is that necessary? So I liked the IUD, but no, I think I would still recommend an IUD over the pill, just because my experience with the pill was nothing but bad.
I can
bloating.
I can ditto on that one.
Yeah,
because my experience with birth control, I've had all the birth control you could think of. I've tried everything. I did the pill. Couldn't do that for very long. I did maybe for like a year or two, and then
because you forgot.
I kept forgetting to take it because I'm a monkey, but I just couldn't remember. Like,
monkeys could probably remember.
Probably, I couldn't take it, and I was like, "Well, bitch, if I get pregnant, it's game over." So I was like, "I need to try something else." So I moved on to the patch. I did the patch.
I guarantee you, a lot of people, men, like maybe men in particular, wouldn't know that wasn't even an option.
Yeah. I didn't know it was an option.
Or the ring. But like, there's a lot of birth control methods that, like, people have no idea that are out there.
Yeah. I've tried it all.
Have you tried the ring?
I did for, like, a couple months. I didn't like it.
The feel?
Yeah, it was gross, kind of. Like, I just had to keep sticking my fingers up my pussy just to, like, get my birth control in and out. And it was, like, not like
every day?
That. Not like I do that regularly anyways. But, like, you know what I mean? It just was, like, a weird thing that I didn't necessarily like. And Alex could feel it. Mm-hmm. And I was scared it was gonna, like, come off on his peen, like a cock ring or something.
That's what we like to call a 2-for-1.
Yeah, a twofer. That's a twofer. Mm-hmm. So I tried that. I tried the patch. The patch was probably the second longest thing I've had. Now I have the IUD. The IUD, wow, that was expensive. So I am riding it out. But
quite literally.
Yeah. The patch was ugly. It left like an ugly sticky Band-Aid mark everywhere it went. I had to switch positions for the patch every single week.
You did?
Yeah, because you can't put it. Yeah, every week you change it to a new one, and you put it on a different spot. The only problem is you can't put it anywhere near your vital organs. I can't put it on my chest because my boobs, because of the hormones, it would cause breast cancer. If I put it on my stomach, it's too close to my uterus, it would cause uterine cancer. I can't put it on by my kidneys, on my back, because it's too close to my kidneys. So it literally had to be on my ass, on my thighs, or on my arms or shoulders. So
this is the shit that we have to do to just not
in the summertime. Pregnant. In the summertime, if I'm wearing a bathing suit and the patch is on my ass, you can see it. Also, it would fall right off. Like, so it had to be like on my shoulder or somewhere. It just like wasn't attractive. It was not nice, and I just had to do that for a couple years. The ring was uncomfortable. Didn't like it. The IUD did give me more painful cramps,
bloating, extreme bloating, like on the remote time that you start your period.
Extremely uncomfortable.
Bloating like I've never experienced.
I also
before.
bled on the IUD for
a
like
whole year.
For like a whole year straight, if not 2 years. Like just spotting. It wasn't like it was severe bleeding, but still spotting every single day. If you know what spotting is, if you know, you know. I don't want to explain to the shrimp dicks. But if you know what spotting is, I spotted for like a year to 2 years, and that was the worst fucking thing ever because I stained most of my underwear, or I had to wear a panty liner, not bleeding enough to have to wear a tampon. Also, that's a lot of waste. And that was just a shitty thing to think about all the time. But I just got so used to it, and it cost me so much money that I was like, I'm going to fucking power through it. Like, that's how shitty that is.
And not being able to talk about that with either, not a committed partner, but like in general. Like, what if you were just like casually dating or casually sleeping with people or just having one night stands or just like doing, you know, whatever the fuck.
And then having to be like, hey, if we want to get intimate, this is what's happening down there right now.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Not are you okay with it? This is what's happening, bitch.
Yeah, you're very right.
Fuck you.
Luckily, I was in a committed relationship.
But still, like, did you tell him that? Did he know you're dating for 2 years?
Yes. And he was totally fine with it, obviously.
Well, yeah, but fine with it. But, like, it's a sacrifice in which we shouldn't even have to really make.
Yeah.
That's what my question would be. Like, would they be willing to do that
for us?
For people with vaginas,
yes,
and uteruses.
So I had this conversation with Alex because he knows I don't think during the process of me going through like adjusting to the IUD, I don't think he really fully thought, wow, that's a long time for her to be bleeding all the time. Like
2 fucking years.
Did like he never really thought about that. I don't think
in my fucking uterus.
Yeah. And so now he's like, we talk about it a lot more, and he's like, I never knew it was like really that bad and that long. I just thought it like kind of normal, and like we got used to it as a couple. We got used to me having that problem, and so it was never an issue for him. It still isn't an issue at all ever. I now don't get a period, which is kind of nice. Maybe for like 3 days,
normal.
I get
not health. Maybe not the healthiest.
Probably not the healthiest.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably not the healthiest. Now I get it like 3 days of spotting, and that's it. And the rest is all cramping and PMS. So I still get all the PMS symptoms. I just don't get a physical gush of fucking blood, which is you can get, take your poison. So we had this conversation. I asked him. I said, "Would you take a pill so I didn't have to be on birth control anymore?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think I would take a pill." And I'm like, "But I don't think I would trust you to take a pill."
To remember?
Yeah, just to remember. In my mind, I can't trust somebody else. I wouldn't trust you. If let's say for some reason, even if it's not like a sexual thing, but if for some reason I had to rely on somebody to prevent me from having a baby and like fucking up my future, like it's a fucking horrible thing. Right now, it could be. Like I just don't want a baby right now. So for me to prevent that, I feel like that's my responsibility. And
hold on. It's not your responsibility.
No. Wait. Hang on. It's my responsibility to choose when I want to have a baby. Like, I don't want somebody else to choose for me. You know, even if it's a partner thing, it's a partnership. Like if with Alex, for example, we choose together when we are ready to have a baby together. And that is not now. And so I don't want to rely on him to accidentally forget when maybe a couple days. And then all of a sudden, now I'm pregnant and it's on him. And I'm mad at him because he forgot and we weren't ready. We didn't have this conversation. It was a whole thing. You know what I mean?
Are we not pro-choice here?
We definitely are pro-choice, for sure.
Yeah.
But, like,